Well, Blue Jay fans, we've got ourselves a pennant race, and you can help enjoy the view right here from the JFtC Circle, presented by JFtC.com and streaming live every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Jays from the Couch YouTube channel. We are just the black sheep of the family of shows available on the YouTube channel. There is, of course, the mothership, the Jays from the Couch radio podcast that's hosted by our founder and senior editor, Sean Doyle. That comes up Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's available on YouTube. It's available on our Facebook page. It's available on Twitter. And if you're not around for the live stream, well, we'll give you a pass, at least for this season. You can always tune in wherever your finer podcasts are available for the replay. And of course, it's archived on the YouTube channel. And then perhaps the shining jewel of YouTube exclusive shows is Sunny Side of the Dome, and that is hosted by my colleague Karen Suter. She has a segment called Heart of the Order on her show, and it truly is her heart. She loves the Blue Jays. She loves baseball. She loves talking about it. And when she addresses issues in the heart of the order, it is a nice, perfect balance of Blue Jays fandom, terrific baseball analysis. That's Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the YouTube channel. Good evening. I am your feckless host, Steve Feck. Welcome to another edition of the JFtC Circle. We're going to talk about just relaxing a little bit. I think some of you have either forgotten what it's like to be in a pennant race or just not equipped to deal with a team in a very tight pennant race. So I'm going to try to have you relax. We're not going to do deep breathing or yoga, primarily because if I did yoga, I would need to be immediately rushed to the hospital. But I just want to help you relax and kind of regain your equilibrium and your perspective. And then Blue Jays way at the end of the show, I'm going to rank my favorite Blue Jays teams. Because I'm going to have to, obviously, the way things are shaping up, I'm going to have to suck up to all of you guys and to all of my colleagues on Jays from the Couch, because I've been saying all year how the Blue Jays are not going to make the playoffs. And try as they might, I don't see how they cannot make the playoffs at this point. And how gleefully delicious is it for the Yankees to be wilting under the heat and pressures of a pennant race right before our eyes. I mean, that's almost as good as the Blue Jays earning a wild card spot. And again, and if it does happen, you want to abuse me, fine. You want to call me out on social media, fine. I don't hide and say, "Oh, I never said that." I was misinterpreted. It was taken out of context. No, I said the Blue Jays are not a playoff team because of their failure to react early in the season. But they have fought their way back into the race. They made some nice additions in June and July. They've started to get healthy. They have earned a playoff spot. I tip my hat, and I have nothing but respect for what this team has done. And even my mortal enemy, Ross Atkins, he made the moves he needed to make. A little later than I think a lot of us would have liked, but he made the moves he needed to make. And Charlie Montoyo, you can question his in-game management style, or I'm not even sure I want to call it style. His decision-making is very, very questionable. He kept this team together and allowed them to figure it out on the field. For the most part, not really inserting himself into the equation. It's not like the genius Tony La Russa in Chicago, or any other manager that you want to say, oh boy, he's a genius and that he's winning it. Charlie has found a way strike that balance between what's being sent down by the front office, the analytics, the scouting reports, and what really needs to be done for his players. He's striking that balance. And I think that is very, very important. I would go and say he is a Bobby Cox-ish. He's Tito Gaston. No matter how the front office might stumble or might make decisions that you're wondering, I don't get it. I just don't understand. Charlie has worked wonders since really the All-Star break with this roster, keeping them together, keeping their heads in the game, not letting them get too low, not letting them get too high. Since we're talking about getting too low or too high, I'm sure there are many of you right now that are out there on the ledge. And for that extra impetus, you're watching this live stream of the On Fec Circle, because if anything is going to make you jump off that ledge, having experienced everything that's happened in the 2021 season, it's probably having to listen to me talk about things for 30 minutes. Not everybody, but I mean, I can understand where you would say, okay. You know, it's sort of like, you know, taking a sleeping pill before you cut your wrists. I mean, either one is going to kill you, but you're relaxed enough that when, you know, the ultimate act happens, okay, it's not that bad watching the show, right? Is it? It really isn't that bad. I mean, I'm very self-effacing, and I understand that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But I'm sure there are some of you that are watching it and say, oh, please, you know, please just put me over the edge. I don't want to kill myself, but just I can't deal with this anymore. A baseball season is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a roller coaster in many, many cases. But when you pay your way into an amusement park, say Disneyland, you don't pay $100 or however much it costs to go to Disneyland, and then just go sit on a bench waiting for the evening parade and fireworks. You want to ride Space Mountain, you want to ride roller coasters, or whatever amusement park you're at, there's a big giant, highly ranked roller coaster. You want to ride that roller coaster. So you've bought your ticket, Blue Jay fans, into the amusement park. And there have been some things that have been very amusing and very fun. Especially now that they're back at Rogers Center, it's more of a carnival funhouse kind of atmosphere. But there's too many people that I always say follow on social media. Again, if people follow me, or if I find that they have interesting takes, I will want to see what they put up there. Most people have it together. Yes, they get frustrated, and they're like, oh, I can't believe this happened, and why did Charlie leave this pitcher in? Or, why is the bullpen imploding? Or whatever it is. But then, I mean, you kind of get it back together the next day. There are too many people that are like, oh, wow, this is great. Look how high. Look at the view up here. Look how great it is as we go up on top of the thing. Holy crap. Look how far down we're going to drop. Oh, my God. Ah! It's not that bad, Jay Vance. It's been a tough season. And I'm not backing away from the criticisms that I have made, really starting in the offseason. And then when the rash of injuries started to hit, and when it became apparent that they really didn't have the pitching depth that they touted all through that offseason, explaining why they spent money on Marcus Semien and not pitchers. I've been pretty consistent in pointing out what the criticisms are. And when things have gone well, I have honestly tried to say, good job. Good job. Okay? I mean, Do I still think that Ross Atkins is a rodeo clown? Yeah, I think at times. I think another example that I used of him was Wile E. Coyote. Super genius. He has all these plans on paper, all these well thought out, way too convoluted, involved plans. And somehow he keeps smashing into mountainsides or falling into the canyon or having things blow up in his face. But I will still believe that. But when he made the moves he did in June and July, I copped to it, said I was wrong. Okay. I wrote on my forehead, okay, clown. Because ultimately I was the clown because Charlie proved me wrong. He made the big moves that he needed to make without entirely gutting the farm system. So I'm going to fess it. I have no pride. I'm not going to be right all the time. Did I say the Red Sox don't sleep on the Red Sox? I did say that. Did I say the Red Sox are a playoff team at the beginning of the year? I didn't say that. I said don't sleep on the Red Sox. I was saying in the midst of their big hot streak that the Yankees were going to collapse and they were going to fall apart down the stretch. I was right there. But it's not a matter of me being right or wrong. It's me trying to share with you perspectives that I've gained, not only through, having done some major league and minor league scouting, coached at the high school and college level, played baseball, have attended baseball games since the mid '60s, even before, the second wave of expansion in '69. Okay, I've been following baseball games and studying baseball basically all of my life. And in many ways, I say the things that you and your friends and family and fellow fans might talk about, on the way to the stadium, between innings, but you really don't say it. You come out and say it on social media. You don't come out and say it, things, but I'm not afraid to say it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll admit to it, and I'll cop to that. But let's get back to you. For those of you that are keeping things into perspective, listen, because maybe you can help a friend or a family member that's going through this. Yes, there's going to be ups and downs. It should not be a scary proposition to follow your team through a playoff race. Like the thing that completely blew my mind today, and I saw it in a lot of different sources, both professional media, team, people who follow the team for a living, on social media. Oh my God, Robbie Ray, he stumbled. He's not going to win the Cy Young Award. It was one tough start. Garrett Cole got blasted on Sunday night. Robbie Ray had a tough start. So why is it suddenly Robbie Ray's a Cy Young and he's the best pitcher, at least in major leagues in strikeouts, and now suddenly one tough little outing, oh my God, he's not going to win the Cy Young now. And how we're going to make the playoffs if Robbie Ray has a bad game. Every professional athlete is going to have a bad game. A prerequisite, for the most part, for a hitter, for example, to make the Hall of Fame is to have a 300 or higher career batting average, unless you have like ridiculous power or things like that. That's considered all-star caliber. And that means you're failing 7 times out of 10. So don't put yourself through that. Oh my God, Robbie Ray had a bad start and now everything's all over. Oh, it was all for nothing. No. Relax. Just relax. Maybe they don't make the playoffs. And maybe some of you then have to say, oh my God, that was right. Oh God, he was right. And that's probably more painful than actually having them not make the playoffs. But the things are looking really good. Everything that you can think of that could happen in a positive manner for the Jays, but negative for other teams, the A's, their bullpen has just totally disappeared. They lost key starting pitching. They didn't have a lot of starting pitching depth. The Mariners are showing their youth. I still have, something tells me down deep that the Mariners can still make it interesting. Yankees are done. The Red Sox, half the roster was on the IL with COVID at some point over the last 30 days. So all of these doors opened. And to their credit, the Blue Jays walked in. And if they had to, they kicked the door in to position themselves to be in a wild card spot. So it's going to be okay. Now, if I was in charge of things, and I'll stop for a moment so you can say a prayer of thanksgiving that I'm not in charge of things. Okay. I would literally suspend social media privileges for any fan of a team as it's going down the stretch of a playoff. Because there's too much of that. The sky is falling. These guys stink. Everything is great. Don't worry about it. Just to help take you out of the situation for a little bit and not expose yourself when you are raw and you feel threatened or scared that something's going to go wrong with the Blue Jays in the playoffs, or any team. This is not just Blue Jay fans. This is kept true of all fans. Just for your own good, suspend all social media privilege for you guys, because all you're doing is it's like having an open wound or a mosquito bite. You scratch it, and pick at the scab. You're never going to heal. You're never going to feel good like you should because you're so up and down. You're on the roller coaster. And you're saying, boy, this is great. This is great. I'm riding the Phantom. This is awesome. Oh, we're at the top. Holy crap, we're really high. Oh, no. It's okay. Enjoy the ride. Even if you're on this roller coaster and at the end, you're like, I'm never doing that again. Or that was not nearly as fun as I made it out to be. Even if that occurs, at least you let yourself enjoy the moment. So let's take a collective deep breath. Here you go. Things are looking good. There's going to be some bad games. It's going to be some great games. Enjoy the moment. Be it good or bad, enjoy it. Even in bad games, you can pick something out that is going to make you feel better about tomorrow's game or the next series. So it's going to be okay for JFtC. It really is. Okay, I look at it this way. At the very least, those of you that watch us on a regular basis can send in your questions on YouTube or Twitter or our Facebook page, and you can completely call me out, embarrass me, call me an idiot. You have that to look forward to if things keep trending the way that they're trending. I know some of you are already writing down your comments and suggestions about what I can do should this happen. How I should embarrass myself. How I should pay a public price. And I'll gladly do that if it means the Blue Jays make the playoffs. Since we're talking about playoffs, 8 times in their history, the Blue Jays have been in the playoffs. They've won 6 American League East titles. They've been a wild card twice. So in our Blue Jays Way segment, it's part history, but it's part of being a Blue Jay fan. I want to rank from least enjoyable to absolute ultimate enjoyment of each of the 8 seasons that the Blue Jays have made the playoffs in the past. There's been 2 World Series championships, back-to-back, 92, 93. There's been some long droughts. There's been some finally, after years of struggling against an expansion team. That's all about the Blue Jays fan experience. Another reason not just to get caught up in one game or one bad series. Look at the whole picture. Remember, learn history, learn from history, learn how to enjoy the team's history. So, number 8 playoff season, it was last year. And really, the reason that it wasn't enjoyable, as much as cool as it was to see the young core start to gel, it was a 60-game series, season. And it was an expanded playoff year. So while it was cool to watch them in the playoff series against the Rays, it wasn't that exciting. It was another step. It was another part of the evolution of this team into potentially being a World Series champion. Number 7 for me is 2016, because like the front office, Mark Shapiro, Los Atkins, much to their chagrin, the team stayed in the race all year. And they really couldn't start the retooling that they knew they had to after the Alex Anthopoulos purge of the minor league system in 2015. And they put up a decent showing. They went to the ALCS. They lost 5 games to Cleveland. But, they beat the Orioles in the wild card. They vanquished the Rangers. Remember, in that time frame, 15, 16, some hard feelings there. Ask Joey Bats' face about the hard feelings that the Rangers had for the Blue Jays. And they had some great, they had Donaldson was still here, and Russell Martin, and Jose Bautista, David Price was still here, Stroman, and Encarnacion. It was a fun team to root for. But really, I know for me, I was secretly hoping that they would kind of fall out of the race early so they could start the retooling early. Because it was obvious that that's what Shapiro had in mind. And that's what Rogers basically had in mind as well. Let's get the payroll back down. Let's start rebuilding our system and try to win that way. My 6th favorite playoff year was 1989. Just for the fact that it was the end of the Jimmy Williams reign of terror as manager of the Blue Jays. The fact that was over, that was a winning season for me without them making the playoffs. But, they hung tough. Pat Gillick finally broke down after 600 plus days of not making a trade. Traded Jesse Barfield, started working some more younger players in. And they kind of exercised what happened in 1987 when they had the big lead. They blew it, went into the weekend series with the Tigers. Tigers swept them. Tigers won the AL East. They were in danger of not winning the division, though they were in better shape, perhaps, than this team would be, for example. But they took care of business and beat the Orioles. So that made 89 really good. Plus, Jimmy Williams was finally gone. Thank God he was finally gone. If you're mad at Charlie Montoyo, try to go back and look up things about the 89 and 88 and 87 and 86 seasons and tell me that you wouldn't rather have Charlie Montoya rather than Jimmy Williams. Number 5 was 1993. Now, you'd think it would be higher. Again, we're going from lowest, number 8, up to number 1, because it was the second consecutive World Series championship. And, of course, the Joe Carter walk-off against the Phillies. They had Olerud and Alomar, Joe Carter, Paul Molitor. They were all starting all-stars on that team. And you had Henkin, Dwayne Ward, Devon White. They were all-star reserves. They won by 7 games over the Yankees, which makes it even better. And you got the first glimpses of guys like Carlos Delgado and Sean Green. So a lot of things happened in a World Championship season. Somehow it just didn't feel the same as the first one. And of course, people always say, well, you always remember your first. That's true. It was a bad season, but it just seemed like, yeah, okay. I mean, the Blue Jays were just better than everybody else, and decidedly so. So maybe it just wasn't as enjoyable. They'd already won one. Of course, they're going to win another one. So you might disagree. If you're out there listening and want to pop up your favorite playoff team in Blue Jays history, please do so. You can do so on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and you can also do so on Twitter. If you're catching the show after the live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday, I do check throughout the week for comments and things like that. I'd love to have a conversation. If it's not during the live stream, I'd like to continue it during the course of the week. So please feel free to do so. My 4th favorite team was 2015. And when I first did the list, I have to admit, I had 2015 higher. It broke what was at the time the longest playoff drought of any North American professional team. But just what Alex Anthopoulos injected, the transaction facsimile of steroids into a team that struggled early. They just full steam ahead. They had players like David Price that were acquired. I mean, it was just a fun season, and you never knew what was going to happen next. It just seemed one thing after the other. And honestly, I still don't know how they did beat the Royals. I really thought they were a team of destiny, but it didn't work out that way. So that's my 4th favorite playoff team. My 3rd favorite is 1991. Historically, the Blue Jays became the first major league franchise to draw 4 million fans. They did it the next year in 92 as well. And comparing it to this team, it's a little bullpen comparison for you. Tom Henke, sometime in August, I want to say the 13th or the 14th, had gone 25 consecutive save opportunities before blowing a save. Can you imagine that happening with this bullpen? And I love Jordan Romano, but I don't know that you see him going out and winning converting 25 consecutive save opportunities. And you saw it was setting up what was to come. First years in Blue Jays uniforms for Carter and Alomar. You just felt good. The only drawback to that season might have been Dave Stieb. His decline, it wasn't at rock bottom like it would be in 92. But have a franchise icon struggle like that, that was tough. But they had Key, Henkin, Guzman, Leiter, Stottlemyre. Great pitching staff. Number 2, the first World Series championship, 1992. And I want to say that it was the first team since the Indians of 1948, I think, that had gone through the entire season without being swept. Really impressive. Great lineup, great pitching. It was the first time in the World Series, and they won. First time World Championship for any team, any franchise. And again, I've been around witnessing from the beginning. Wasn't a Blue Jay fan in 77, but I attended games and I was around for all of that. I know how dark some of those days were. But my favorite still was their first playoff appearance in 1985. Bobby Cox and a young core. You saw it building. 83, 84, first winning season, 85. You saw that young core, which they kept together, gelling, getting better every year, and it finally turned into an AL East Division championship. So for me, the 1985 playoff team is the best. If I was going to insert this year, and I'm running out of time here, so I'll make this really quick, I would probably put it between 1989 and 1993 if this team makes the playoffs. It's just not. We're just now seeing and realizing what this Blue Jay team can be with the proper management, the proper manager, and supplementing the core going forward. Well, I'm out of time. Actually, I'm way past out of time. But thanks for tuning in to this edition of the On-Fec Circle. We're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Jason from the Couch YouTube channel. Make sure you tune in Thursdays for Sunny Side of the Dome and Karen Suter. And Jason from the Couch radio podcast is Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, please do leave your comments during the week. I will get back to them as I can. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.